Hi guys, today I am going to be telling you the story of how my dad passed away. As you guys know, on the 26th of February will be 30 years since my dad has died. He's gone. I haven't written anything down, this is just going to flow from me. I really don't know how I'm going to react to telling this story. At the moment I'm already starting to well up. It's 30 years, you never forget 30 years of your dad dying. I was 9 years old. I mean, I've lost the first man I ever loved. At 9 years old, and that has a toll on a 9-year-old, and this is why I'm raising money for the British Heart Foundation. So this film is to plug my JustGiving page and plug the British Heart Foundation. Please, I will leave a description, I'll leave a link in the description box for my JustGiving page if you want to donate to a brilliant charity that is the British Heart Foundation. They're doing amazing jobs on people's lives. You know, they're making people live. Unfortunately, my dad was not that successful, or gone. But then possibly that's what smoking 80 a day could possibly do to you. So yeah, I'll link my JustGiving page in the description box below. I'll link the British Heart Foundation, as I always do, in the description box below. And if you'd like to donate some money to the British Heart Foundation through me, I'll be doing the 10k run in May in King's Lynn, the gear run, which has become quite a traditional thing for me now. This will be my 5th gear run. If you want to support me, you can, like I said, donate. You can come and watch me run on the run. I don't mind. You can take photos of me, you can film me, you can cheer me along. If anything, that will help me. You know I've done the run 5 times, but it never gets easy. And I mean, last year I'd done it for kidney research, and that really spurred me through. And I had, I had family cheer me on. I had my old next door neighbour high-five me for doing it. I had people calling out kidney research to me as I was running, you know, and that really hit a chord. And as I was editing the footage of the kidney research and the run, I was welling up, like I'm welling up now. So this video is in memory of my dad, to raise money for the British Heart Foundation. I know I've said all this before, but now I'm going to get into the story of how my dad actually passed away. Right, so it was 26th of February. I can't remember the date. I think it was Monday, but it was 1990. It was in 1990, 30 years ago. It was an early morning, a very, very windy morning, and as I remember, because our loft door, when it was windy, would always used to lift up. It always used to have to lift up, and my dad would always have to put it back on again. Yeah, it was a very, very windy morning, and I was a bratty 9-year-old little girl who hated the dark, who didn't like sleeping in her own bedroom, God, thank God I do know, who didn't like sleeping in a bedroom, would always totter off to her mum and dad's bed and sleep in between her mum and dad. Don't know whether as you as a 9-year-old can relate to that, but me as a 9-year-old relates to that. So yeah, I got in bed with my mum and dad. About a couple of hours later, I heard my dad stirring and my mum said, "Oh, what's wrong?" My dad said, "Oh, I've got a really bad pain in my chest and the pain's going down my right arm." Now today, if someone said that to me today, alarm bells ring. Alarm bells ring me. Even now, if my husband says he's got a tight chest, the one thing I say to him is, "Can you breathe?" And it's only pain going down your right arm, or any arms. That's just me now. I just say that. But yeah, he had a pain in his chest going down his right arm. And he goes, "I'm just going to go downstairs, take some painkillers and come back up again," which he did. Then as he came back upstairs, he got back into bed. We all settled down again, and I think it wasn't that long after that that my dad, for some unknown reason, this time I weren't sleeping in between my mum and dad, I was sleeping with my mum. My mum was in between me and my dad. And as he came back into bed, a little while later he started violently shaking. My mum was literally trying to kick me out of bed, saying, "There's something wrong with your dad, get up, get up, get up. There's something wrong with your dad." And as I was trying to get up, my mum was trying to get the light on and stuff like that. By the time my mum had got the light on, my dad's eyes were transfixed. His lips were wide open, going blue, and he had a waxy paley skin. As a 9-year-old, how do you react to that? I didn't, I just stood there. I couldn't move, I just stood there. I think my mum was a little bit beside herself, didn't know what to do. My sister at this point heard all the commotion, came into the room, took one look and could not cope and walked out again. Me was still transfixed on my dad. Yeah, couldn't move. My eyes were just transfixed on how blue my dad's lips were, how waxy my dad's skin was. His eyes transfixed on nothing, you know. And that image still haunts me today. Like this. Oh, jeez. Sorry, guys. I told you I didn't know how I was going to react. Yeah, anyway. That image still haunts me to today. Where was I? Anyway, at this point, my mum was trying to get me out of the room and downstairs, which I wouldn't go. I wouldn't go downstairs. So eventually, my mum walked downstairs, took me downstairs, my sister came downstairs. We called the doctor, because back then you didn't call 999. In the 90s, you didn't call 999, you called the doctor first, and then you called 999. My mum called the doctor. The doctor turned around to my mum, because my dad was a diabetic and was insulin dependent, turned around to my mum and said, said to my mum, try and inject him with the dosage that my dad usually has with insulin. So after getting off the phone to the doctor was coming round. He said he was going to come round. After the doctor, she put the phone down on the doctor, she went back upstairs. I went up with her. I don't think she wanted me to, but I went back up with her. And it took her about 3 or 4 attempts to try and actually inject my dad with some insulin. Then I think my mum was trying to tell me to go back downstairs. So in the end, but I wouldn't. In the end, the doctor came, and I think my sister let the doctor in, and I think the doctor turned around and said, "You need to get your daughter out of the room." So my sister come and got me, took me downstairs, and while the doctor was upstairs with my mum, trying to revive my dad, basically, my sister took me downstairs, took me in the living room. We didn't even have the TV on, and as kids, the thing you usually go for is the TV. We didn't even put the TV on. Me and my sister just sat there cuddling each other. So after that, I don't really know what happened upstairs. The only thing is, minutes after that, I heard my mum crying and running towards the stairs and coming downstairs, leaving the doctor upstairs with my dad. My mum came down the stairs and was saying, he's gone, your dad's gone. And at this point I'm sort of like, where's he gone? He's upstairs. I'm 9 years old. I knew what she meant, but I was sort of like, where's he gone? He's upstairs. You know, I knew what she meant. And so my mum was in floods of tears. I think my sister was crying at this point. At this time, I was not crying. I was not crying. I don't know why. I weren't crying. I can't piece together what happened then, but I know because we had a sudden death, the police had to come round. So when the police came round, they immediately went upstairs with my mum. I don't know what altercations happened, but the police actually accused my mum of murder for trying to inject my dad with insulin. Yeah. The police actually tried to say that my mum committed murder. That's when the doctor chimed in and said, I actually told her to inject this gentleman with insulin because he's a diabetic. So she was doing it on doctor's orders because the doctor wasn't going to get there in time. There was more going on with the doctor and the police and my mum. Family members were then starting to come to our aid. My nan and granddad on my dad's side, my nan and granddad on my mum's side, my mum's brother, my mum's sister. I'm not too sure about my dad's side, but I think they did come, but I think they went quite quickly because they were a bit upset, I think. So yeah, it was a kind of, how can I put this? I felt like I was living in a nightmare at that point. So basically at this point we were having family come round and we had no milk. So I don't know why we had no milk, but we had no milk. So the policeman that had just accused my mum of murder radioed through and goes, can we get this lady some milk for her family and her daughters? And so the police came round, bought some milk, could see that it was a tough time going on, offered his sympathies and stuff stuff like that, walked out again. Eventually the police went. We were waiting for the what's it called, the people that collect the bodies. We were waiting for them. I'll remember it tomorrow. I'll go, oh, that's what I was meant to say in my film. Yeah, so the people that come and collect the dead bodies, take them to their resting place before their final resting place. They came and put my dad in a body bag. I remember at this point I was bursting for the toilet, so while they were upstairs doing that, I ran to the toilet, and as I was coming back, my granddad on my dad's side, we used to call him 9:30 because he only had half a finger. He got it chopped off in Cooper's factory, so we used to call him 9:30. I asked my dad why, and he told me that, and that's why we called my granddad 9:30. So yeah, but at this point they would bring my dad downstairs while I was coming back from the toilet. They would bring my dad downstairs, and my granddad was in the kitchen. He wouldn't let me go through to see my dad being carried off. Yeah, as soon as he knew it was clear that my dad had gone, stuff like that, he let me back in to the living room with my family. Lots of things were going on then. Everybody was upset, everybody was crying, everybody was drinking tea, because that's the most British thing you can do, is drink a sweet cup of tea in times of trauma. And I think they were all concerned about me because I wasn't crying. And even now I've had that little tearful moment, and I won't cry now. I hope. So yeah, they were all concerned about me because I hadn't cried, and so also my mum phoned up both schools, because my sister was in a high school, I was in junior school. Phoned up both schools, let them know, what English is that? Let them know that me and my sister wouldn't be going to school today, as we just lost my father. The doctor did say it was because of a massive heart attack, and also that his lungs were pure tar as well, which led to a heart attack. What was I saying? Yeah, they were concerned about me crying, not crying. So when Mum turned around to me and said to me and my sister, well, I think my sister got dressed, I was still in my night clothes. I think my mum says, go up and get dressed, or I took myself up and got dressed or something like that. While I was in my room trying to get dressed is when I broke down. Basically it took me so long to get changed because I was in tears. My uncle from my mum's side actually came upstairs to see how I was doing, and I just said to him, can you give me a minute? Heard me sobbing, went straight back downstairs and said, it's okay, she's cracked. While I was getting changed and sobbing, I don't know why, but I had a strong smell of my dad's aftershave come into my room. I went back downstairs, and I think the complete day after that was complete numbness for me, complete numbness. I can't recollect at all what went on after that on the day. I know my nan on my mum's side stayed with us. Yeah, my nan on that night stayed with us, and a few nights after that as well. Because as the weeks went on, my mum started having suicidal tendencies. So for all this to be going on for a 9-year-old child, which was myself, I felt I had to grow up pretty quickly. And then when my mum got back on her feet and that, and my nan started going away, I would not leave my mum's side for the fear that she might do something stupid. So, but for the rest of things that happened after my dad passed, I can't recollect. The day I can recollect quite well, but before that or after that I can't. All I can say is 30 years on now, and I still miss my dad. I still wish he was here. I still talk to him. I still look up to him and say, help me out here. Keep an eye on me and Ian. Keep an eye on my sister. You know, help me out. Which I'm sure he does sometimes. So yeah, that was the story of how my dad died. So my hubby's now home, so I'm going to go now, and yeah, please donate to my JustGiving fund. Thanks.